last time I mentioned it is always good practice to start an R script with one statement. What is that one statement?
Is it like clear all or something?
Clear all.
No, that's MATLAB.
MATLAB.
Oh crap. I hate those.
All these programming languages,
Yeah.
right? That's why we've got Google and documentation. You know, even I don't remember all the commands, but the more practice that you do with some programming language, you'll understand or remember. So RM stands for remove. And list equals ls. We have seen assignment operators already in R. What are the two assignment operators?
Arrow and sign.
Arrow and equal sign. And it is a matter of choice. You can either use equals or you could use arrow. I personally like using arrow. Arithmetic operators, you have plus, minus, asterisk is for multiplication. So I can write it as x star y or asterisk y, and that would save the value of x times y in u. V, I could say y raised 2. Very similar to maximum. Caret symbol means you're raising it to the power of 2. Could do W. I'll do U star star V. They all run, so you can use the source function, which would mean it will source the entire file. You can select a portion over here and use that button, which would mean it's going to run selection. Sometimes you can check that, and anytime you save the file, it'll automatically source it for you. Matter of choice again. Let's say the value of u, 36, 9 times 4, v, 16, w, 7.9586, blah, 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 blah. Right. That E stands for 10, 10. So this is scientific notation, 7.95 multiplied by 10 raised to 24. What did it do?
Well, it took 36 to the 16th power.
36 to what?
U is 36 hours.
V is y squared, right, which is 16. U is 36. Simply raising 36 to the power of 16. Similar to maxima, whether you put the caret sign or asterisk, asterisk, one in the same. Any guesses as to what this line did? H is U percent 4.
U mod 4.
It's the modulo. So One of the nice things about having RStudio, since it is an IDE, makes things efficient. So we all know that we've got to start with hashtag for a comment. So I started with 3, but if you end with 4, observe carefully and tell me what happens. Did we notice?
There's some little thing underneath the code window. Seems like almost a sort of a bookmark.
You see that down arrow sign? If you take that off, it'll go away. But if you put full pound sign, you get that down arrow. So R is not going to do this basic R in terminal, but RStudio will. So if you press that, what did it do? Collapsed and hid everything. Now, typically, when you write a program, it can go up to, thousands of lines. It's best to hide some of the lines. So you can easily hide it in RStudio. Long time ago, when I first used there was terminal, but there was another GUI called RCMDR. That standard for R Commander. It was awful, but now we've got RStudio. Good. We can do logical operations in R. If we want to do AND, we directly use the letter or the word AND in Maxima. Here, I'm going to do, not before we do that, greater than, less than, equal to, we can test them directly. Any guesses as to what we would use to, for example, test if U is equal to V? U is 36, V is 16. And if I want to test if U is equal to V, what operator should I use? What did we use in Maxima? Single equal sign, right? But can I use a single equal sign in R? Why not, Joe? It's an assignment operator. So what should we do?
Double equals.
Double equals. So very similar to MATLAB. So all I'm going to do is type x equals 4. That's it. I'm not going to do is or any of those. Didn't give me anything, right? X equals 4. You have to print or it will execute and test it, but it's just not giving you the value. If you did it in console, it'll give you the exact logical output. What is the difference between the logical output here and the logical output in Maxima?
In Maxima, it's bold.
It's bold, true, but that's the GUI thing, it's the user interface thing, but good observation. But
So in Maxima, it like just says what's exactly there, it doesn't give you like.
okay, simpler than that.
Use is.
We have to use is in Maxima, here we don't. In terms of the output, look at the output.
The one in ours in caps, like.
Case sensitive. So both Maxima and R are case sensitive languages. If you mess up the case, you will get an error. So in R, false, uppercase, all of them. Likewise, true, uppercase, all of them, all letters. But we can be effective. You can simply type uppercase T, uppercase F. Uppercase T would stand for true, uppercase F, false. Good. So if I did print x equals 4, testing, logical test, gives me the answer. So when you use x not equals 4, it will execute, but for you to see the output, you have to print. It's like using a dollar sign in Maximum. U is greater than 2. Once you use and, type and, nothing changes, so it must be wrong, correct? Because if you go back and look at every operator, when you type equals, RStudio automatically corrected or adjusted the color. So here, if you want to use and, it's the ampersand sign. So U is greater than 2, and V is greater than 2. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put those within parentheses. I love parentheses. I'm going to save it to G, not parentheses, print G. But what do we expect in the console? True. Right, the first logical statement that resulted in false, that resulted in true. So you can execute a logical expression and save it to a variable. You can do this in Maximum also.
Not just you make the print really, any other use of that value just easier.
Come again?
And what was the purpose of assigning it to G and showing that you can?
I'm just doing this to show that you can take a logical expression and save it to a variable, the output. Because sometimes we want to save it to a variable. Or you can't type OR, but you use a vertical dash, it's shift backslash. Only one of them needs to be true, and U greater than 2 is true. So when I print H, I get true. Good. What is the next logical operation that I did?
No,
I just did or. Equal and or,
no,
not. I'm going to use I. Exclamation mark H. So very similar to Maximum. It already executed H. And when I do not H, it's simply converting the answer from true to false. We want to do an assignment, a simple list. The simplest list in R always, we start with, say, open paren, close paren. That will be a simplest list. How did we define an empty list in Maximum? Square bracket, square bracket. Here, it's just C, open paren, close paren. That would mean an empty list. Call it J. One, two, cat, dog.
So you didn't have to put quotes around the numbers, just the words?
I can put quotes around the numbers, but if I put quotes around the numbers, what would happen?
it treats a number as a string.
It's a string. It's no longer a number. For example, 1 plus 2, perfectly fine, yes? But the moment I put quotes, can't do. It simply gives you an error, non-numeric argument to binary operator. How did we access elements of a list in Max?
The name of the list and then the square bracket and the elements you're looking for.
Okay, the array, not the list, right? So to access the elements of an array, we simply did J or what was the array that we did? W of, raw. So here, J of 1. Let's go for J of 4. What do we expect to get? Dog. So in R, the index will start at 1. What do I mean by index? Index is the position of each value. So that's position 1, position 2, position 3, position 4. Python, MATLAB, it will start at 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. So
Not about these as well.
should
Yeah, because with like matrices and whatever, like. You would access the.
Oh, that's
one-
right, that's one. We did a hashed array in Maximum. Let's try something. I'm going to do J of roll. Yes, that's how we define a hashed array in Maximum. And I'm going to assign 9. Good. Let's type J. What do you see? So Rob is right here. And Rob gets assigned the value G. But something interesting happened. What happened?
Somehow. Becomes like a key value,
Huh?
like,
True, it becomes like a key value pair. Now, if I print J of row, it is going to give me the value G, but I want you to pay close attention. I'm going to type J. So you don't see a position there, 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 there. So by default, position 1, position 2, position 3, position 4. I can print J of row G. I can also do print J of 5. What do I expect to get? G. Good. Another interesting thing is that if you look at J, those two automatically turn into strings. So that's one of the sort of disadvantages or cons or in a sense, if you have strings in a list, it'll change the numbers to a string automatically. So it's always better to define numeric lists separately and strings separately. If you want, you can combine them later.